Hello everyone, in today's video I'd like to talk to those of you who are new about keeping up with the community, common mistakes that could potentially lead to you falling behind and thus getting gatekept, and obviously how to not waste your time at endgame. I play with a lot of new players these days. Basically all of my raid groups so far except one have been at least 5 new players if not more. And I have to say they're doing quite well in terms of mechanics. There are fails and wipes and restarts, but we're not there for the whole day in a Vicas, you know what I'm saying? Same goes for Belshazzar. So they have what it takes, but at the same time, looking at their character profile, it's just like all over the place in most cases. And that's perfectly fine because you're new, you're not going to have the knowledge of a veteran or the flow in doing things of someone who has played for a couple of years or a year here in the West. And so today we're going to talk about exactly all of this. Advice number one is keeping up appearances, looking similar to the large majority out there. And I'm not comparing you to a whale right now. I'm not even thinking of them. I'm just comparing you to the group of people that's active, interested, some veterans, some new players that were, really keen to get into Lost Ark and learn everything. Today is a Friday, which is the second day of the second week on the Jumpstart servers. And in order to get into a Belshazzar group for Gate 1 and 2, people already are requiring you to have 2 Belshazzar pieces. This is some of the groups. The other half, because it's kind of split 50-50, the other half is still learning the game, still learning groups, teaching, etc. There's very many veterans who are still teaching Belshazzar, gates 1, 2, 3, 4. And so if you're just joining us on the Jumpstart servers, don't worry about it, don't FOMO, it's not too late, there's still plenty of groups that you can learn in. By the time next week comes along, next reset, people are going to start asking, or at least there's going to be many groups that will ask for 4 pieces of Belshazzar gear on yourself, just so they can know that you've done this content. There's no busing, there's no carrying here on the Jumpstart server, so if you have the pieces, that means you were good enough to get through that content. It's not just veteran players who have this. It's not just veteran players who can join these groups that require 2 or 3 pieces this week. It's also brand new players. I have played with a lot of brand new players that by now have 2, 3 pieces of Belshazzar. And it's just been, what, 9 days? So because of that, you don't have to be scared, but you just have to focus on Belshazzar because this is what matters the most right now. Later down the road, after people are going to start requesting 4 pieces, then later down the road a full set. After that comes people requesting a title that you have killed Belshazzar Gate 4 X amount of times. The same goes for other types of content such as Kakul Seidon, which is a 1475 raid. That one gives you trumpets to upgrade your gear, to upgrade your set bonus to level 2. The sooner you upgrade it, the better it's going to be when you apply to Kakul groups, right? Because they're going to see, hey, this guy has done Kakul a few times, so he's better than the other guy which has a full set bonus of level 1. And of course, in a few weeks from now, the Kakul Seidon title, which implies you've already killed Kakul Seidon X amount of times. And later down the road, when you're going to have the item level to enter Akan, which is the next Legion raid after Belshazzar, the same exact process is going to repeat itself. Again, for the near future, there's still going to be lots of training groups. Training groups also for Akan, for example, when more new players are going to get there. So in that case, in that sense, you're safe to go. There's no need to absolutely rush for it. There's just a need to prioritize. In terms of when you should be raiding, when you should be looking for groups, the best days are Wednesday, Thursday, and Saturday. Wednesday, right after a weekly reset, everyone's like going crazy. I need the gear, I need the pieces, the tokens, the mats, the gold. So everyone's desperate to just get into Legion raids. That's one of the most active days for Legion raids in Lost Ark on a Wednesday. And then Thursday is also a very good day. Saturday is a nice day. Very many pre-mades happen on Saturday. So sometimes they have 1 or 2 free spots because some members don't show up, and you joining in for those pre-mades is actually a very pleasant experience. Most of them are way less toxic than what you can find in LFG, and also just better, right? More organized. So it's a nice day as well. A Sunday, not such a popular day for raiding in general because there's other pieces of content that people do, and for some reason there's not that many players in Lost Ark on a Sunday. And then a Tuesday is like desperation day right before the next weekly reset. That's a good time to join groups because they would accept almost anyone just to get inside and try to finish that gate, right? Get out of jail. But at the same time, exactly because they kind of accept anyone, there's also high chances to fail. So if you want to have the best chance at a good time in Lost Ark, Think about these things. Maybe take a Wednesday evening off, right? Don't watch Netflix. Maybe just play Lost Ark and you can watch Netflix on Thursday evening. And speaking about grabbing the bull by the horns and being part of a community, playing when they play, we're excited on Wednesday for raids, you should be excited too, etc. Being more assertive as a new player is such a cool thing, and talking a little bit more. I create so many groups where I ask people, hey, does anyone need an explanation for this mechanic, that mechanic? Do you just want to go in there and try it out and see how it is? After we fail, I ask, hey, is there a problem? Can I explain something, a color? It makes veteran players feel so good to explain things to new players, and there's so many veterans that want to do this. But if you're silent, if you never speak up, you're never going to learn really. 6, 10, 12, 15 weeks into fresh start servers, still not knowing mechanics, and if you ask at that point, it's going to look very suspicious for you, like how did this guy get his gear when he doesn't know that basic mechanic, right? Did he get bust or what did he do? At that time, 15 weeks into fresh start servers, veterans might not really want to keep doing so many training runs because they have like 6 characters to take care of and do legion raids on. And that was advice number 2. Speak up. I want to hear from you. Advice number 3 would be, don't be afraid to do content, higher tier content. There's nothing to be afraid, especially not now on the fresh start servers. Go in there and fail. Join a learning group and just fail all night. It's going to teach you so much, and it's going to be so important for your confidence for later content down the road. Don't just do, I've seen, can you imagine, I've seen some poor people just talking in area chat in North Vern that they're like only doing Voltan because that's kind of like more easy to understand and people are so nice there. No, don't. Join Kako Seidon groups, learning groups for Kako Seidon. Yeah, it's a pain in the ass. Join Brashaza, learning groups for Brashaza. It's going to teach you so much. It's a pain in the ass, but you need it so you can sort of keep up and avoid getting gatekept later down the road, right? Do these things. It's a fresh start servers. There's so many content creators, streamers that I've heard teaching people left and right and east and west EU central. And most importantly, don't be afraid of the last gate in a Legion raid. I've seen several people saying, I'm just doing Kakul 1 and 2 because gate 3 is so hard and I can't. Yes, you can. You can and you have to. Simply because these gates, Kakul gate 3, Belshazzar gate 4, completing the whole raid is going to count towards you earning the title from that raid, which eventually title becomes a gatekeeping tool for the LFG parties later down the road. So you need that and you want to go there even though it's harder. Try it now, practice, you're new, nobody has any expectations, and it's a great time for you to learn Lost Ark. And lastly, don't do stuff that nobody cares about. Don't waste your time at endgame, especially if you have limited time. But even if you don't, there's always something more important to do in Lost Ark in that sense, and it's cool for you to focus on those because those are the primary focus on the large, active, interested majority of players that are going to stick around for longer, and eventually you're going to end up playing with them anyway on the legacy servers. Excessive collectibles, adventure tome, roster level farm, these things are not important. Nobody looks at them. Yeah, there's a guy who's roster level 72, you're roster level 28 or whatever. Right now it's fine. Later down the road, much later, yes, people are going to start caring, but you're not going to get to that much later part if you don't do the other more important things that people care now and keep you with that majority that's active, right? Granted, some of the collectibles bring a little bit of value because of the skill points they give, but at the end of the day, they're also going to be changed. The game director already talked about it. We're going to have like Super Mokoko Express type events for horizontal progression as opposed to what we have now for honing, right? I'm not telling you to wait for this change. We don't know exactly when it's coming, probably before the merge, within the next 6 months. But what I'm asking you is, does anyone see how many skill points you have? No, they don't. It's only you. And granted, they're very important and they bring a big boost in your damage. But nobody sees it like they see how many Belshazzar pieces you have, how is your set bonus upgraded to level 2, what's your item level, are you actually working on any nice card set, or you're just like with the default one forever. So these are the things that people get to see and that gatekeep you way more than you not feeling amazing on that class just because you're missing like 40 skill points or 20 skill points or whatever. Another thing that I find to be a waste of time is starting on the fresh start servers by using the story express first. It takes days for a new player to actually get to Punica, for some new players even more than a week, and that's already 7 days or however many days that you've basically lost. Instead, you could have just boosted to 14, 15, and being invested in the end game content right away, starting with day one. And it doesn't even teach you much anything about your class, to be honest. It's gonna feel way different in end game content like Legion raids or whatever than it does while you're leveling up. If you're worried about not wasting your 14, 15 Southern Power Pass, I get that. You don't know what class to play. I would watch 6, 7 different class guide videos and listen to them, look at the gameplay, and try to decide like that, as opposed to just spending 6 days leveling up a Soul Fist. Oh shit, I don't like it. Okay, next 7 days I'm playing a Berserker, and then I'm 20 days into the game and I still don't know my class, but I've also missed these many days of doing endgame content. Don't FOMO over it though. I'm not here to rush you or stress you. You don't need 16 characters. You don't need, to pay real money. But all I'm saying is that I would be an idiot to sit here and tell you, you have plenty of time. Just take it as easy as you want to. The sooner you get your wheels started on your roster, they don't have to be 16 character wheels or 10,000 euro wheels, just the right wheels, the better off you're gonna be in the future. And yes, you should finish at least one of your Story Express. The rewards from there are quite decent, but do it after everything else that's more important, which is basically everything else, is already done. Let's say you have plenty of time until December to take part in a Story Express event. That's everything for me today. I thank you so much for your time watching. I'm gonna see you next time. Until then, take care.